Was good. Back again with the Arctic Cat 500. We're this close to wrapping it up. It'll be ready to hit the trail soon. We got a few more parts in. Check this out. All right, so we got some carb cleaner because we got to clean out the carb. We got a big problem with that carburetor. It has to come off, it has to get cleaned, it has to get put back together. We got the nipples for the bleeder, so we're gonna bleed the brakes today. And then we also got these big old spacers. It's gonna be nice. We're gonna slap those on there. She gonna be sick. So what I'm gonna do first, we're gonna bleed these brakes 1, 2, and 3. And all I have is like a Coca-Cola bottle with a nozzle coming off of it, and all I do is fill this up with a little bit of oil just so it hits that bottom, and then I put the other end to that nozzle, and then I do that in each corner and then pump the brake, and it'll pump whatever air is in the lines. You got to pump this one for the back one in here, and it'll bleed it all out. Once you're not getting any more bubbles, lock everything down, take these out, and you got brakes. After that, we can slam the wheels back on, finally. It's been a while. To you guys, it's been like, shoot, a couple minutes, maybe an hour of this job, but this has been kind of like a couple week process because we've been waiting on parts and just waiting on stuff. So we're gonna get set up for the brakes, and I'll show you how it gets done. All right, so basically what you gotta do, fill up the reservoir. All right, keep it filled up. You don't wanna let it get empty because it's just gonna drop through. I got my rig set up, so I got the Coke bottle to the nipple on each 3 corners. Right here. This one keeps bubbling because I don't think I got a good connection there, but it's been dropping in a lot in there. There's no back feed coming out, so when I tighten it up, I push up on it. Still some bubbles coming out, it looks like, so I'm gonna let it rock for a while. This one will work only with the back brake, so this needs to be filled up. Now you can see this one. See that? If you pump this while that's open, it'll just spit up like it just did on me. So you can only do one at a time. So we're just gonna leave this topped off. Let this guy finish pumping out some air out of it. Sorry. Let this guy finish pumping out some air. Looks like it's still got some air going in. So we'll just give it a minute and we'll keep it rocking and rolling. This one doesn't seem to be pumping, so I'm gonna pump that one last since that's the closest one. That's probably why it's not pumping. So I'm gonna get this one done, close it, and then I'll do the back one, and then I'll do this one. Because in the front, this is the longest compared to where you always want to do with the farthest from its reservoir. Now the back has its own reservoir. It's there in the middle. You saw me fill it up. So from this reservoir, you got this line and that line. This line naturally is going to be a longer one than this one. So we're going to get this one bled out real good. Then we're going to lock it up. Then we're gonna go and bleed this one out, lock it up, and then we'll bleed the back out, lock it up. All right. Right now, this one's still spitting, so we're gonna pump it a little bit. There we go. Some air stuff flowing. Just draining it out. That's good. We'll keep going. But I gotta dump what's in there back in my bottle. I'm gonna do that now. Alright, so I'm gonna keep on pumping here. I had to get a refill on my fluid. Just might go slow. Oh, might go slow. We're gonna inspect this side. Ain't got no more bubbles. So we're gonna lock that one up. This is a difficult spot. We'll get it. There we go. She's all locked up. By the way, this is a 1/4 wrench. If you can see that. The glare is getting in the way, but 1/4. So now the goal is, since that line is bled, we gotta get this one to get going. So already feel some pressure from that other one being closed. If you find some stuff in there, take it out. You don't want it in there. Yeah, she's gonna spit now. I'm pumping it right now. It looks like this one's ready to be locked up. Oh, there's the bubble at the bottom. There's no bubbles going up. Can't tell. Oh, no, there is. Splits right there, so we're just gonna keep going until that line is nice and full. You're gonna keep doing that if you go too fast. But it is working its way down. So it is moving. So I think if we do this a couple times and lock it like that, you should see fluid in that line. Stop right there and going down. But it is dumping in here. We got a lot in here. So I think I'm good with it. Just gonna cap this off, pump it a few more times, and let it rock. You could also put your hand over it and pump it. That's what I'm gonna do now. It's a lot of pressure in there now. So, help that filled her up. She's kind of leaking from the hose, so we're gonna lock her up. She's good. We'll be back. All right, so both of these are bled. They're both locked up. Now we can put this cap on it. We gotta make sure it's nice and full, just so it always has a little bit extra. I'm gonna put these bolts back. And it takes a star. I forget what size it is, but it's a star bit. There we go. She ain't going nowhere. Now, if I squeeze, if you see that on there, it'll move when I squeeze it, but she's solid, dude. So now we're gonna do the back, which is already hooked up and has been bleeding. We're just gonna pump it. And you'll see this. Go down. Put some more fluid in it. Don't judge me, I'm making a mess, but it's alright. She is relieving some pressure, so we're gonna keep on pumping. brake is pretty tight. But this is full. See, there's a dot. It's full all the way back, no bubbles. So we're gonna lock it up. Need my wrench. Oh, that's loosening. All these bubbles are coming from this loose connection now. Couple more pumps just to fill it up. Oh no, she's full. That's it. Brakes work, front and back. So now, just put the shield back on. We might have to take some out of here, but looks like that was fine. All right, we got back brakes now. Yep, we're gonna try and test it. So that's done. I'm gonna clean up my mess a little bit. And we're gonna get to these spacers. I've been waiting for these for a little while, so we'll be back. Alright, so here's the spacer. We went with 2 inches in each corner. Made by Max Motorsports. So this is gonna be hard to do with one hand, but you get the gist. You put it in there, and then you put the stock bolts that go to your normal wheel, or the lug nuts. You put those in here, and then your wheel would mount to these guys. So I'm gonna set up all 4 corners, and we'll show you how it looks when it's done. All right, check it out. 1, 2, 3. All right, we got the spacers on, all 4 corners. She's gonna be big. You can see the studs just on the fender line, so she's gonna be wide. All right, I can't wait anymore. Let's see what tires look like on here. Ready, set. All right, she's all done. Sitting wash, sitting fat. You know, I told them, you know, best route is to get full A-arms, but they decided to go with the spacers. So, but she looks sick. I mean, she looks fat, she looks wide. She's gonna brake now. Those bushings in the back aren't wobbling the back wheel anymore. Both back wheels are pretty solid. We may have to do the top bushings on those A-arms, but I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna let them know and let them make a decision. Like I said, this is Chris's father's quad, so they gotta make that decision, not me. She's big though. Shoot, this thing says, like, when you're sitting on it, you're taller than most SUVs. Like, she's tall. She's really tall. Like, for example, this is the quad, that's the jet ski. They're pretty much at level. And the jet ski's sitting on a trailer. So, pretty badass. There is one thing though. This thing is pretty close to burning down. Like, she can burn down. The carburetor, you can see it, is leaking directly onto the starter. And it's not the little drain at the bottom. And if there's enough fuel and you go and start it, and that starter makes a spark at that red connection, boom, you got a fire. So we're gonna take this carburetor out. It's not too bad. It's pretty straightforward. But we're gonna take this carburetor out. You got the bolts for the throttle line here. Got another one down there. Is it just the one? I think it is just the one. Yeah, it is just the one. Take the throttle cable out, and then you unclamp that hose. There's another, unclamp the intake, and then you unclamp the reed side, and then you go on this side of the quad, and you unclamp the fuel side on the right, which is this black line right there, and then that's the choke. So you take the choke off, and then you can unclamp the reed side right there. And it's easier if you push it back this way and then pull it out. It looks like this thing's missing a cap too. Huh. So we may have to source that. That's interesting. But I'm gonna take this carburetor out, inspect it really good, and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so here we got the carburetor for this Arctic Cat 500. Essentially, it's leaking from right here, is where I noticed it from. So we're gonna take off this cap, we're gonna take off the bottom bowl, clean up all the jets inside of here. This top part is like a stinger floater kind of thing. I forget what it's called, but they say these could be sealed wrong, or the lip for the seal could be flipped on itself and it will make a proper seal, but I don't think it was leaking from there, but we'll try and take it off. Make sure it's sealed properly. You don't want to hit that because it's like a rubber, so you don't want to hit it with what's inside of here with the carb cleaner, because it'll actually shrink it and then you have a harder time trying to make a seal on this edge. So I'm going to take off the bowl. I'm going to take off this little cover here, which I think is the one that's leaking, and see what we got. I tried to clean this up, by the way. It won't clean up much better with what I got in my garage, but for now, it's gonna have to do. So once I take this off, we'll be back. All right, so we got the float cover off. This was that little cover that I think was the one that was leaking. Under that goes this spring, goes there, and this makes tension on the seal, which is here. So essentially this would go on here, and the spring on there, and then the cap on there. So we're just gonna clean this up really good. It's not brittle or broken, it's still pretty soft. I think maybe it was just dirty. There is a breather hole right there that could be clogged up, not releasing pressure. So we're just gonna clean this stuff real good and hope for the best. So I got everything kind of sitting in their little compartment area. This is the float. Now you can adjust your float just by bending this little metal tab in the middle there. You don't want to bend it too much because it could break. Then this is the stinger that goes on the float and kind of regulates the fuel that comes in and out. Essentially, if these have any grooves or anything, you want to replace them, but this one looks pretty decent, so not too bad. Here's the gasket that goes around the whole float. Doesn't look like it has anything of an edge anymore, so we're just gonna try and clean it up. Let's slap it back in there. There's a couple jets. There's one here, and inside of there. So we're gonna take those out, clean them, and put everything back together. All right, so we got the jets off. The main one, the big one, goes in the middle, right under this hole. The little one goes here on the back right corner, and this medium-sized one goes in this hole. So essentially, you want it to just be clear and be able to see through it. That one you can, but we're still gonna clean them. I haven't cleaned these yet, so they are as they came out. This one, the hole is much smaller, so I think we can improve on that. Clean it. And then this one, the hole's bigger because it's just a bigger jet altogether, but we're gonna clean that too. And this has like these little ports that could get clogged up, so we're gonna try and clean those up too. So there's this little one. So we're gonna try and get all that cleaned up. And all I'm gonna use is some CARB cleaner and the compressor hose. And then we're gonna, any holes or lines, we're gonna pump through it, hit it with the compressor hose, and just clean it up as best as we can. All right, so I'm gonna clean these up. I'm gonna clean the carb, and we'll be back. All right, so we got everything nice and clean. The holes are pretty still the same, more or less, or a little better. This was the small one that you could barely see through. It's kind of the same, but it's a little better. See, nice and clear through it. And now you can really see through it. That's good. So I cleaned up all the ports. Everything breathes through to its opposite end, so that's good. That means they're all cleared up. Cleaned up this edge a little bit so we can make a better seal. Cleaned up the bowl a little bit so we can make a better seal. I'm still gonna try and clean up this little lip there, and then we're gonna clean this guy up, hopefully make a better seal as well. Clean out that hole and we should be good. So this essentially is gonna go here, big one there, a little one at the top, right here. Oh, let me switch hands. I'm a righty, not a lefty. That one's gonna go in there. And then this one, a small one with the little holes on it, is gonna go in that hole. And from there, you just tie them all down. Now I'm doing it soft right now, just because I'm using one hand. But once I put the camera down, I'm gonna tighten them up real good. So there goes that. Then there's the float. So for the float, this little needle, see that little hanger it has? That hanger is gonna hang on the back side of that metal part. So we're just gonna put it there. It's kind of hard to do with one hand, so you're gonna have to excuse me. But essentially, it'll look like that. And then that goes this way. The needle gets fed into that hole like so. And then this rod holds the assembly together. So you can pass it in through any side. Gonna have to excuse me for the bad camera quality, but like I said, it's kind of hard to do with one hand. There we go. So now she's there. Now you could probably look at the manual and see how far that float is supposed to drop, but it needs to stay pretty much parallel on any carburetor. It could drop a little bit, but you know, when it goes back down, you want it to sit pretty flat on the top left right there where the needle goes in. So, and then it drops just a bit and creates that angle. But when it's flat, that needle that we seated is sitting flat, not letting any fuel through. So when the bowl fills up with fuel, that needle closes and doesn't let more fuel through. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten all this stuff down, assemble everything back together, and throw it onto the bike, see if we got a leak. All right, you guys, so the car's back on the quad. No more leaks onto the carburetor. Everything's nice and dry. So check it out. Should start right up. Usually it would leak at startup. Now, no leak. You know, it was dripping right onto the starter cable, and that could have started a fire really, really quickly. No drips, no leaks. I even added that little drain hose. It has a kink on it, but something's better than nothing. At least it won't leak. If that bowl, that drain is, if the bowl ever fills up, it'll drain out the bottom. So something's better than nothing. At least it'll trickle down slowly. But she's good to go. She's ready to rip. All right, so that's it, you guys. The Arctic Cat is ready to go. No more leaks, no more wheel wobble. It's good. It's good. It's ready for the trail. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure you like and subscribe. Please subscribe. It helps out so much. I bring more projects like this. I want to move onto car builds, but for now I can fit more of these in my garage. So keep watching, keep subscribing. Eventually we'll have something pretty cool on the channel. I have a lot of ideas. I do want to get into like drifting, some circuit racing with cars, but for now I've always loved the motorsport industry, so we're gonna keep doing this so we can level ourselves up. But the Arctic Cat's ready to go. I'm gonna bring you a video eventually of it riding on a trail. I just don't got one now, so when I go out to the trail, we'll show you a good video of it ripping up. But thanks for watching. Take it easy. Peace.